અમે તો ભારતને તો જમાડીએ છીએ અમારા અન્નપૂર્ણા માના આશીર્વાદથી અમારા દેશના ખેડૂતોએ જાણે અગાઉથી દુનિયાની ચિંતા કરી હોય.
That was Prime Minister Narendra Modi saying in April this year that India could feed the whole world if the World Trade Organization permitted it. But since April, India seems to have been going back on these assurances. First, India banned wheat exports. Then India restricted sugar shipments. Now, India, which is the world's largest exporter of rice, has restricted the exports of broken rice and has also imposed a 20% duty on exports of various other grades of rice. What happened between April and now that has resulted in the government taking this complete U-turn? What impact will the government's latest decision have on the global food crisis? Let's unbreak this news. On Thursday, the Ministry of Commerce and Industry issued a press statement amending the export policy of broken rice. The notification read, "The export policy of broken rice is amended from free to prohibited. The notification will come into effect from 9th September 2022. The duty of 20% will affect brown and white rice, which accounts for more than 60% of India's exports. It was only 4 months ago that Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said that India could feed the whole world if the WTO permitted it."
તમે અમને WTO જો પરવાનગી આપે થોડી રાહત કરી દે કે ભાઈ ભારતમાં જે ભંડાર પડ્યા છે તમે બહાર મોકલી શકો છો તો અમે કાલે મોકલવા તૈયાર છીએ. અમે તો ભારતને તો જમાડીએ છીએ અમારા અન્નપૂર્ણા માના આશીર્વાદથી અમારા દેશના ખેડૂતોએ જાણે અગાઉથી દુનિયાની ચિંતા કરી હોય.
But immediately after this statement in April, there was rising tension and confusion over the policy India must adopt, especially when lower rainfall in several parts of the country started affecting Indian rice production. Just about 2 months after the Prime Minister's statement, in July this year, Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal raised a red flag regarding rice production in the country.
We request all the states to increase the sowing of rice. Currently it is less than last year. So I request all the states to please increase the sowing of rice. We have sufficient stocks, there's no problem of stocks. But there's a lot of demand internationally. So the more our farmers produce, they'll get a good price in the international markets also. So this will help to increase the export. I'm also Commerce Minister, so I have to also keep increasing the exports. So I would urge everybody to please increase the sowing of rice so that we can increase our exports. If required, we'll increase our procurement also.
In this statement, the minister talks about his intention to increase exports. If that was the intent of the government of India, then what happened between April and now? Why did the government first ban wheat exports, then sugar, and now rice? And why is the news on the restriction of rice exports significant? Because India is the largest exporter of rice in the world. India exports rice to more than 150 countries. Billions of people the world over are dependent on rice. Rice is a staple food for nearly half of the world's population. Asia produces and consumes almost 90% of the global rice supply. Indian rice exports account for more than 40% of global shipments. In 2021, India's rice exports reached a record high of 21.5 million tons, which was more than the combined shipments of the 4 other large exporters: Thailand, Vietnam, Pakistan, and the United States. This is Food Secretary Sudhanshu Pandey stating in a press conference on Friday that an abnormal rise in exports and lower availability of broken rice in the domestic markets pushed the Indian government to ban the export of broken rice.
ब्रोकन राइस में बिल्कुल आप देखिए 50,000 टन से 4 साल में ये जिस तरह से बढ़ा है वो ग्रोथ जो है वो बहुत एबनॉर्मल है. उसका शेयर भी 1% से बढ़ के 23% राइस एक्सपोर्ट में बढ़ गया, वो भी एबनॉर्मल है. और जो डोमेस्टिक अवेलेबिलिटी है उसकी ख़त्म हो गई है. डोमेस्टिक अवेलेबिलिटी नहीं है, ना आपको पोल्ट्री फीड के लिए अवेलेबल है, ना आपको इथेनॉल प्रोग्राम के लिए अवेलेबल है.
So it is obvious that the decision to ban exports was taken to bolster domestic supplies and to calm the local price of rice. Low rainfall has affected rice production in many Indian rice producing states like Bihar, West Bengal, Jharkhand, and Uttar Pradesh. Many feel that India's food protectionist approach has started hurting its global standing as global food safety and security depend on large food producers like India. The decision of the Indian government to restrict rice exports and further levy a tax on other rice varieties is going to affect many countries. The move will increase the cost of rice globally, and there are deep concerns over global food inflation. Indian restrictions will help rival rice supplying countries that will now increase rice prices. The export ban is also expected to hit Indian farmers as they will lose the high prices they get for the staple crop overseas. The war in Ukraine has led to many countries resorting to food protectionism to cope with high prices in their domestic markets. But if more countries resort to such a protectionist approach, this will only exacerbate the global food crisis. Many believe that the solution to India's rice problems is not restricting exports altogether, but to adopt better agricultural practices and grow rice in a more efficient manner. In India, farmers continue to depend heavily on the monsoon for a better yield. Reducing this dependence by promoting best agronomic practices, using water more efficiently, improving soil management practices, and making farmers use modern irrigation methods can all help India increase its rice production. Food protectionism is not the solution. As someone had rightly said, protectionism is nothing but the institutionalization of economic failure. Protectionism is nothing but answering a problem with another problem. The world today needs solutions. To the global food crisis, India could come up with many solutions, only if it stops giving in to protectionist pressures.